Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, and I hate to break it to you, but Morbius sucks. Well, maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie. People who have seen the movie said that Morbius is not very good. It supposedly is going to open lower than any of the Sony Spider-Man movies to date, which is a damn disappointment because I've actually really enjoyed the Spider-Verse from Sony, but we're going to read some of these early reactions. The movie does not come out until, next week? So, poor Jared Leto, he can't catch a break, right? We're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 261,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. We do talk about pop culture, talk about comics, talk about everything going on in Hollywood right now, and yeah, if you are expecting a proper follow-up to Spider-Man No Way Home, it sounds like Morbius is going to be a huge disappointment. Pretty much every major media outlet saying people that have seen the movie said it's pretty terrible. So we're going to look into this a little bit more. And yeah, I'm actually not happy about that. I wanted this movie to be good. I did. I was very, very excited about the future of the Sony Spider-Man movies. I liked Venom. I liked both Venom movies. First one better than the second, but I liked them both. And I do think it was Sony steering the ship with No Way Home. But yeah, Morbius is going to be a misfire. Apparently. So let's look at this here. Den of Geek says Morbius first reactions suggest this vampire movie sucks. It sucks. Some fans got to see Morbius ahead of its April 1st release. April Fools. Maybe it's a different movie. Maybe that's the joke. Maybe an actual good Morbius movie comes out on April 1st and you guys are all being trolled, but I don't think so. They did not enjoy it. A particular note is the post-credit scene, which one tweeter called some of the worst you've ever seen. Not too much praise for Jared Leto, but the response to Matt Smith's over-the-top villain seems to be positive. He was supposed to be in The Rise of Skywalker as young Palpatine, if I remember correctly, and he actually would have been pretty good. I would have watched Matt Smith. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, well, not quite as popular as the Green Goblin or Venom, Morbius is one of Spider-Man's most notable villains. Given the name The Living Vampire to avoid censure from the Comics Code Authority, Morbius appeared in Amazing Spider-Man 101. Morbius became more of an anti-hero during the Rise of the Midnight Suns crossover with Ghost Rider and Blade. Excellent storyline. Loved it. Headlined a solo series that ran for 32 issues. I think I want to say I got about half of those. I don't know. Midnight Suns, though, I definitely picked up a lot of those comics. Is that enough to carry a feature film? Sony has received plenty of skepticism for trying to launch a cinematic universe based on Spider-Man villains. The enterprise has been surprisingly successful, though. Despite mixed to low reviews from critics, Venom made $856 million at the box office, and Let There Be Carnage made $502 million despite releasing during the pandemic. And they have a Kraven the Hunter film starring Aaron Taylor Johnson coming out. They could be good if they put Spider-Man in them. That would be fun. Of course, Venom movies had at their core an absolutely gonzo performance by Tom Hardy. Can Morbius hope for similar success? Early reports suggest no. Again, we don't know if the movie's going to be any good. We don't. We're just going by what people are saying. And sometimes people are biased. Sometimes people just didn't enjoy the movie for whatever reason. Venom, again, was panned critically, but made a lot of money. And I actually liked it. I mean, it was a throwback to 90s superhero movies. And this one kind of looked like it is too. It looked like it was kind of a throwback, but who knows? Morbius is about as bad as you were expecting. 2005 plot. A 2005 plot. Okay, there we go. Collides with visually confusing CGI to create a bit of a snooze fest, but don't worry, they've saved the worst for last. Featuring some of the worst post-credit scenes you've ever seen, Sony are off their rocker. Morbius proves that no matter how many famous faces or shiny visuals you squeeze in, Sony will always find a way to impressively misunderstand basic storytelling. Ouch. Morbius is unfortunately not great. Definitely not as fun as Venom. Yeah, see, here we go. 2000s formulaic plot. What's wrong with the 2000s plot? What's wrong with the 1990s plot? Oh, yeah, because it's not post 2015. So, I mean, again, we'll wait and see what happens when the movie comes out. But yeah, if that's the biggest complaint, that this sounds like a movie from the 2000s or the 1990s, I'm okay with that as long as it's a solid movie. Really confused at the future of the Sony Spider-Verse following the post-credit scene and the editing. Matt Smith is clearly having a blast. I like Matt Smith. I'll watch Matt Smith. In Morbius, Matt Smith gloriously hams up the place, and Oliver Wood delivers some visual flair. Aside from that, the bad plotting, messy CGI, confusing editing, and worst sound mix result in absolute incoherence. But the post-credits managed to do it all. Oh boy. There were a few completely positive reactions, which praised Leto's performance in the movie's themes. This guy says, Morbius walks a fine tightrope between gothic vampire melodrama and comic book fantasy. This guy says, Morbius walks a fine tightrope between gothic vampire melodrama and comic book fantasy. Jared Leto embodies Michael Morbius with a dedication no other actor could. The pacing is brisk and it features some great visual flair. So we got a couple of positives. Digital Spy, Spider-Man spinoff Morbius panned in first reactions after fan screening. The worst post-credit scene you've ever seen. Really? Really? I don't know. There've been some pretty bad ones. There's like 3 tweets. So they're going by 3 or 4 tweets now. Everybody's going on about the plot being too formulaic, being 2000s, being which is fine. I don't think there's any problem with that. Now, we do have a problem here. Morbius is set to have the lowest live-action Spider-Man movie opening weekend. Now, remember Shang-Chi? They said Shang-Chi was going to be a huge flop, and it actually wound up making significantly more money than they thought. And no, Clownfish TV did not make the predictions. We were actually going by Box Office Mojo, I think, which said it was going to have a low opening, but it did better than expected. It's possible Morbius could do better than expected. A lot of people, hoping for more Spider-Verse action after No Way Home, but it sounds like this one's not going to be the follow-up they were hoping for. So this is coming from MovieWeb. Morbius set to have lowest live-action Spider-Man movie opening weekend. Predictions for the opening weekend of Sony's Spider-Man universe movie Morbius are not bad, but they don't live up to the likes of Venom. Well, Morbius is not exactly a household name. Morbius could have seen a better projection than the $40 to $60 million opening weekend expected. With constant release date shifts, some early signs that the film is not the most well put together Sony Marvel movie, and a rumored slapdash attempt to link the film to the MCU, things are not looking amazing for the Spider-Man universe movie, with predictions making it the lowest live-action opening of any Spider-Man-based film. Although in pandemic terms, up to $60 million opening weekend is certainly not to be sniffed at. Following the massive success of Sony's Spider-Man universe movies Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and of course No Way Home, there were a lot of expectations for Morbius to gain a boost from the recent MCU movie to continue the success of Sony's Marvel output. However, if the predicted volumes prove to be accurate, the luck of the Spider-Man doesn't seem to have rubbed off on the living vampire. What Sony is trying to achieve is something that's a bit of a mystery. With their 2 Venom movies, they seem to have a firm grip on where their universe was heading, and were doing it successfully. The introduction of Morbius seems to have a lot less of an impact with potential audiences who seem to be willing to take it or leave it and don't see it as a must-see cinematic event. It needs Spider-Man in it. If this thinking turns out to be the way Sony's adaptation of lesser-known characters is seen by the cinema going public, it could cause problems for their upcoming movies. And I think Disney would actually kind of love that. They get a cut of the box office, but I think they're a little salty that they have to share Spider-Man. I think they would love to see Morbius tank. You know, it's worth taking the L. Like maybe if enough of these Sony Spider-Man movies bomb, we can get Spider-Man back. Wouldn't that be something? I don't think it's going to happen though. Anyway, we'll see what happens. You know, it is what it is. I actually was looking forward to it. I did like Venom quite a bit, and I think Jared Leto is okay if he's in the right role. I did not like him as a Joker in the Snyderverse. I didn't like him as a Joker at all in the Snyderverse, but we'll see what happens. Gonna wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.